Hey guys, what's Vicious here, and welcome back to another video. Now, this video is a bit different from my other ones. Had a new idea, and it was just, I need to make a video where I give some tips to new playing spoofers. If you recently bought PG Sharp, or just using the free version, or you recently rooted your phone and using Polygon or Pokemon. And these are essentially 7 tips that anyone can utilize, but is probably going to help new spoofers the most. These 7 tips, I thought about it for a bit. I removed some and then added some, but these are my 7 tips for new playing spoofers. And they're not in any order. They're not in order of like importance or whatever. But so make sure you stay until the end of the video to make sure you get every single tip that you might need. Right now I'm currently grinding on PG Sharp. The background footage is my account just leveling up, doing stuff on PG Sharp. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first tip that I have for spoofers is if you're trying to boost up your account, get those great Pokemon. One of the things that you need to focus on is to not worry about Stardust that much. Stardust will come naturally, since you're a spoofer, like eventually you'll get so much that it just piles up and you don't really know what to do with it. Take for example, like my Stardust is currently at 15 million, and I don't really have anything to use it on anymore, so it just keeps piling up, and there's no way I'm going to be able to use all that unless I just randomly waste it on stuff, right? So yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. So make sure you don't worry about Stardust that much, and instead you focus on leveling up to 30 and then doing plat medals afterwards. The XP doesn't even really matter that much after level 30, because at level 30 you're going to be able to snipe 100 IV Pokemon with the built-in PG Sharp feeds, or some sort of Discord or Twitter bot, whatever you may want to use. But like I said, the XP and Stardust after level 30 are not important at all. You're always gonna have a surplus of that. Right now I'm currently stuck at level 48 because I'm still missing 2 platinum medals, and I have 134,000 XP, 134 million XP over the required amount for me to level up. So yeah, it's not a problem. Do not worry about it. You slowly grind those requirements to level up, and then make sure you're getting those platinum medals, because you need 35 in total. Okay, tip number 2. Make sure you grind when good events come out, and this is like these XP boosted events, Stardust boosted events, Com Day events. This is really important, because knowing when to play is just as important as grinding all the time. I used to just kind of log in and just grind whatever. Two years ago, I think, or a year and 2 years ago, and it wasn't really efficient, because I'd grind Stardust and stuff when there wasn't really any Stardust events. It's actually better to just save your Stardust event grinding until a Stardust event comes, and make sure you're doing that specific thing when the event rotates. So if it's a rocket battle event, make sure you're doing all your rocket battles. If it's like an egg hatching event where there's bonus egg hatching distance, make sure you're doing egg hatches that day, or auto walking. If it's Stardust, obviously, if it's Stardust and XP, make sure you're excellent curveball and catching as many Pokemon as you can. And make sure you're always looking at the tab, obviously, to know what sort of events going on and what kind of buffs are happening, because these will help kind of guide your gameplay very, very easily. Make sure you're finishing your field research and special tasks, especially. Lots of people always say, "Oh, where'd you get the Mew? Where'd you get the shiny Mew? Where'd you get shiny Ditto?" It's all these tasks, right? And all of these, a lot of these are time limited, but some of the important ones for legendaries are universal, so you get them no matter what, and that's where you get those things. Obviously, if you don't know whether or not, if you don't know what a special research quest kind of gives you, you can actually always just Google it, and people will tell you what it is, because the names for the research quests are all the same. So yeah, make sure you grind the good events when they come out. That's tip number 2. Tip number 3, make sure you abide by cooldowns. It's very important as a spoofer that you're abiding by cooldowns. One reason, because if you want to snipe a Pokemon and you're obviously on cooldown, then you're not going to be able to catch that Pokemon. It's going to run away. This is good practice for when you do start sniping after level 30. Abiding by cooldowns means you never have to. Well, I mean, I don't know anyone who's been banned by not abiding cooldowns, but soft bans are still a thing, right? You can't get locked out of the game in that particular area, and if you don't know where you last spoofed, you might have to wait for 2 hours. So one thing you can do before that is to abide by the cooldown. Obviously, there's a feature in PG Sharp where you can actually turn on cooldowns, so that it tells you whenever you're on cooldown for a specific location. But make sure you start doing this early on, because trust me, losing a shundo while sniping because of cooldown issues is very, very frustrating, especially after you do like 700 to 800 checks. That's like 4 hours of sniping just for one Pokemon to run away because you didn't remember the cooldown. Very unfortunate, so make sure you know what you're doing when it comes to that. Number 4, this is a bit of a weird one. Play by your own rules. You can get a lot of freedom as a spoofer, so do what you enjoy, whether that be collecting or PvP or gym battles, right? Or raiding. Make sure as a spoofer you don't really have you have a lot of resources to kind of do what you want, right? You have essentially infinite XP, Stardust, and the capability to catch Pokemon. So make sure you're doing what you enjoy. There are lots of Pokemon YouTubers out there. They're just like, oh, you gotta grind levels, you gotta grind raids, you gotta grind XP, Stardust, like the best Pokemon or whatever. No, man. As a spoofer, you can kind of just do what you want, right? If you want to catch a specific Pokemon because it looks cool, do that. If you want a shundo hunt, if you want a shiny hunt for a specific Pokemon, do that, right? Catch what you want, and you'll have a lot more fun playing the game as a spoofer when you're not focusing on becoming the quote-unquote best. Because, well, first of all, you're spoofing, right? So you're already better than your account's already going to be more much stronger than all the legit players. So there isn't really any point comparing yourself to legit players. You might as well just have fun and treat it sort of like a single player game, but with friends. Next up, tip number 5, grab some friends you can get best friends with to get lucky trades going ASAP. If you have a problem with this, including finding friends, you can always come to our Discord. We have just under 16,000 members, and we're always expanding. We're looking to do some Christmas sales and probably some key giveaways when we do hit some of those milestones. Talking about giveaways though, we are going to be hitting 30,000 within a month or two, so I'll be doing some PG Sharp giveaways along that, so make sure you're checking on the community tab, as I will be announcing some PG Sharp key giveaways right there. But yeah, one of the tips, like this tip in particular, is pretty important, because having best friends means you can get lucky trades every once in a while. I'm not going to open my friends list, obviously. I don't want to expose my friends. But, it helps with trading shiny legendaries to get them lucky, so that, you always have that god tier chance of getting a schlucky, which is nuts. But, having a shiny legendary lucky is pretty satisfying, especially when you do have the candies for it and you can level that up, right? I do have a few shiny legendaries. I have Palkia right here. We have Reggie over there. I think I have a Rayquaza somewhere as well. Yeah, and Entei as well. So yeah, very satisfying. Make sure you get some trades. Make sure you get some friends going, get some trades going, because yeah, it's a long time to get the best friends. Next up, tip number 6. This one I cannot believe I didn't think about before doing it. This one was like a last second addition. I was like, wait, hold on. Make sure you do abuse the feeds from PG Sharp, Discord, and Twitter. These feeds will carry you through the game. And when I mean feeds, I mean these custom feeds, right? Obviously, if you don't have premium, you can only use 100 IV, which is fine. You can catch a bunch of these. But these feeds are really strong, especially if you know how to use cooldown and time it properly. If you're just porting around the world, never on cooldown, it's fantastic. You can snipe a ton of very powerful Pokemon. You can kind of just catch cool stuff as well, which is fantastic. If you do have premium, make sure you are abusing the custom feeds as well as the raid feeds. The raid feeds are really useful for finding popular hotspots for you to raid in, whereas the custom feeds allows you to custom hunt for particular Pokemon that you want. Obviously, you're not going to be able to snipe legendary Pokemon because those are only from raids, but there's a lot of pseudo legendaries that you can hunt, which will help your grind, which will give you very, very powerful raid fighters and stuff like that. The seventh and final tip for playing Pokemon Go as a new player or a new leveler or a new spoofer, to be entirely honest with you, is to be patient and stay informed on events. There's a very, very useful website called p337.com. That website essentially gives you a ton of sort of cooldown timers and events that are upcoming. It's usually for the next month and a half or so, but they give you tons and tons of cooldown timers for those events, and it gives you links to make sure that you're caught up on all those events and know what you're grinding for, essentially. One thing you can also do is you can also join our Discord, because we do have a bot that gives out announcements, and those are really useful because there's infographics that you can just like look at and be like, okay, I want to grind that particular thing, or I'm going to take a break this week because it's pretty boring, I don't really want to play this week. Yeah, I mean, it's just nice to stay informed, right, and to be patient. All the legendaries are going to come back at some point, so don't feel the need to just like waste a ton of Stardust trying to trade with someone for a legendary that will probably be like 46 IV, because it's always going to come back, and then once you unlock it, it's much, much cheaper to trade that. So yeah, those are my 7 tips for for new spoofers, and honestly just kind of everyone in general. If you didn't know them, if you forgot about them, and I've reminded you of it, drop a like down below if you find these tips useful. Gives you a sense of direction. I'm glad you found some help in this video. And yeah, that's it from me, guys. If you want to help out my channel, you can subscribe down below. You can leave a comment. You can join my I don't know what it's called. You can just kind of subscribe, I think, with like a premium thing. I'm not too sure. But yeah, that's it for the video, guys. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.